The story I'm about to tell you is something I never thought I'd share publicly. It's about a choice I made, a promise I kept, and a secret that changed everything. It all started with my girlfriend, Chloe. We had been together for 3 wonderful years, and I was planning to propose. She was my everything, my confidant, the person I wanted to build a future with. But life, as it often does, had other plans. Chloe was diagnosed with a rare, aggressive form of cancer. The news shattered our world. The vibrant, energetic woman I loved began to fade before my eyes. We fought it with everything we had: chemo, radiation, experimental treatments. I was by her side for every appointment, every sleepless night, every moment of pain, and every small victory. Through it all, her brother, Alex, was a constant presence. He was a few years older than Chloe, a quiet, serious guy who adored his little sister. He was a doctor, and though his specialty wasn't oncology, he understood the medical jargon and the grim realities better than I did. We formed a strange, unspoken bond, united in our love for Chloe and our desperation to save her. As the months wore on, Chloe's condition worsened. One evening, when it was just the two of us, she took my hand. Her grip was weak, but her eyes were clear. She told me she was tired of fighting. She made me promise her something. She said, "When I'm gone, please don't let my memory chain you. I want you to be happy. Live your life. Find love again. Promise me you'll move on." It was the hardest promise I ever had to make. A few weeks later, she passed away peacefully in her sleep. The funeral was a blur of grief. Alex and I stood side by side, two men who had lost the most important person in their lives. In the weeks that followed, a heavy silence fell between us. We'd occasionally text short, simple messages like, "How are you holding up?" or "Thinking of you." But the easy camaraderie we'd built at Chloe's bedside was gone, replaced by a shared, cavernous grief. I tried to keep my promise to Chloe. I went back to work. I forced myself to see friends, but everything felt hollow. Every corner of my apartment, every song on the radio, every sunset reminded me of her. I was adrift, lost in a sea of memories. Then, 6 months after Chloe's death, my phone buzzed with a message from Alex. It was different from our usual check-ins. It read, "Can we meet? There's something I need to tell you. Please, don't tell anyone, not even my parents." My heart pounded. Why the secrecy? My mind raced through 1,000 possibilities. Was there something about Chloe's illness I didn't know? A family secret? I agreed to meet him at a quiet coffee shop on the other side of town, a place neither of us usually went to. When I saw him, he looked more tired than I'd ever seen him, even during the worst days of Chloe's illness. He barely touched his coffee. After a few minutes of strained small talk, he took a deep breath and looked me straight in the eye. "I need to tell you about the last conversation I had with Chloe," he began, his voice barely a whisper. "The day before she passed, she made me promise something, too." I leaned in, my whole body tense. What could she have asked of him? Alex's voice cracked. "She knew she was dying. And she was worried about you. Terribly worried. She told me, Alex, he's going to be so lost. He won't know how to move on. He'll keep his promise to me on the surface, but inside, he'll be trapped. She loved you so much." He paused, gathering himself. "Then she told me about something she'd been planning before she got sick. A surprise she had for you." My mind went blank. A surprise. What was he talking about? "She was saving up," Alex continued. "She had a separate bank account. She was putting money away every month for a down payment on a house. A small place in the countryside with a garden. She had a folder on her laptop with listings she liked, floor plans she'd drawn. It was for you too, for your future." I couldn't speak. I had no idea. Chloe and I had talked about it in passing, a distant dream for some day. I never knew she was actively working to make it a reality. "Here's the thing," Alex said, sliding a folded piece of paper across the table. "After she died, I found the account details, and for the past 6 months, I've been continuing the deposits. The same amount she put in every single month." I stared at him, dumbfounded. The paper was a bank statement. The account name was Project Future Home. The balance was ... significant. It was almost there. Almost enough for the kind of down payment they had dreamed of. "Why," I finally managed to ask, "why would you do that?" "It was my promise to her," he said, his eyes welling up. "She made me swear that I would help you fulfill the dream. She said, his promise is to move on. Your promise is to make sure he has somewhere to move asterisk to asterisk. She didn't want you just starting over from scratch. She wanted you to have a piece of the future you two planned together. A foundation." He pushed the paper closer to me. "The account is yours. She left instructions with her lawyer. It's all legally yours. I just ... I had to see it through. To keep my promise." I sat there, looking at the bank statement, then at the face of the man who had secretly been carrying this weight for half a year. He wasn't just his sister's brother. He had become my guardian angel, working in the shadows to honor her last wish. It wasn't just about the money. It was the love behind it. It was Chloe reaching out from the past, not to chain me, but to give me a launching pad. And it was Alex, who, in his own quiet way, had been looking after me all along. That day, something inside me shifted. The heavy fog of grief began to lift, replaced by a sense of profound gratitude. I realized that keeping my promise to Chloe didn't mean erasing our past. It meant building on the foundation she left for me. The next week, I started looking at houses online, not with sadness, but with a renewed sense of purpose. I found a small cottage, an hour from the city, with a big yard that needed some work, the perfect place for a garden. When I went to see it, I asked Alex to come with me. Standing on the porch of what would become my new home, I turned to him. "Thank you," I said, "for everything." He just nodded, a small smile on his face. She would have loved this place, and I knew she would have. Moving on wasn't about forgetting Chloe. It was about living a life she would be proud of. It was about tending to the seeds of the future she had planted for me. Thanks to her and to the incredible kindness of her brother, I finally had a place to start.